Good morning. Craig Bennett, a.k.a. Cashka here at DFSArmy. Going to do an NBA First Look pod. It's a 3-game slate, real small. But before we get into that, got to rant. I got to tilt. See the sign behind me. Stop tilting. I usually don't tilt. But watch last night's game. Watch that Portland at Miami game. Jimmy Butler did not deserve to be thrown out there. Courtney Kirkland threw him out, would give him a second tech. Should never have happened. Never. Butler was struggling from the field. He's getting fouled. He went hard to the basket. He got the foul, and he got in the face of the ref, and he deserved that first technical 100%. As he's walking up the sidelines and he turns away from him, here comes Courtney Kirkland in there, gives him a second tech on the same play, and throws him out. It was absolutely ridiculous. And so, Kirkland, stop trying to make the game about you. It's about the players. And when you take a guy like Butler, think about maybe the kids or somebody that's, their first Miami Heat game and they want to go watch a superstar like that. You just burn that for all those kids. Maybe that was the only game he could see. It just pisses me off that a play like that and the ref makes the game about them and it's not about the game. So again, I don't like to tilt, and if a player has a tough game and I have him in my research I felt was right, I don't tilt. But stuff like that pisses me off. And you see it. We saw it with Miami just a couple games ago when Lowry threw the ball to the ref and then they kept giving him a tee and tossing him. So that stuff just got to get out of the game. These refs got to stop being so soft and let these guys, it's an emotional game, let them rant. Again, this is the same play. It's not like he was coming after him again. He was walking away to cool down. You got to let him cool down. So with that, anyways, let's get into this 3-game slate. Going to knock it out. We'll do a little DraftKings here, talk about things. I just had to get that off my chest because it just pisses me off. And hopefully we can pick some winners here. It should be a fun 3-gamer. Go through and talk about some injury news and whatnot, and let's just dive into it. All right, as you can see, I have DraftKings up here. We're going to go through that, kind of talk about, we'll build a little sample lineup at 3-gamer. I think these are more tournament slates. It's hard to play cash on a 3-gamer, and you certainly can. Everyone has the same information, but I just tend to like to play tournaments on these. But we'll go over these a little bit here. So the first game we got on tap is Phoenix at Dallas. Phoenix is favored by 1.5, 213.5 over under. DeAndre Ayton is still out. Abdul Nader is out for Phoenix as well. On the Dallas side, Porzingis is questionable and Sterling Brown is questionable. So maybe Porzingis sits for some rest. We'll have to see about that. But again, just looking through this, we'll build some sample lineups. We'll talk about some plays. On the Phoenix side, we're going to have McGee at 4K. He's probably going to be super popular at that price point. He's probably going to get the start. So someone that's going to probably hit a bunch of lineups. So someone that you can look after. I don't think you have to go him. Jalen Smith's been playing pretty well. He's 100 more. We see McGee 23 minutes at last game with 8 and out, put up 18 DraftKings points. Going up against Dallas, if Porzingis out, I think it helps some more. They're not a good defensive team in that front court. If you look at Jalen Smith's last game, only saw 2 minutes against the Spurs. Before that, 15, 17, 18. More risky, but I still think there's a little bit of upside there. So we can look at taking, if he does get some minutes, and more risky, McGee's going to be way more popular. Probably your cash guy if you're building one lineup here. So we're going to throw him in our center spot. But I also understand, Biyombo's there as well. So if you want to take a shot at him, McGee's probably going to start. Biyombo's the same price. So if you're building 2 lineups, maybe you throw him in instead. He put up 39 against the Spurs in 25 minutes. So I think if Biyombo starts, he's probably going to be more popular than McGee. If McGee starts, they just don't run him a ton of minutes with his asthma and just everything else going on with him and the way he plays. So I don't mind throwing. You know what? In this lineup, since we're doing things, let's just throw Biyombo in here. He's still going to be popular on 2-game slate, but just consider that. Like I said, Jalen Smith didn't see minutes last game, but that doesn't mean they can't play him this game. So I would throw him in my pool for sure. But looking here, Devin Booker, 8,300. Again, they have a second highest implied team total on the slate at 108. So, Booker's very much in play here. Chris Paul, 7,500. Again, way too cheap. These guys you definitely got to look at. Cam Johnson at 4,600. Again, too cheap as well. When he was out, we were kind of looking at Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges a little bit more. But all these guys are very much in play here. You can play anyone. I love playing Campaign off the bench. He just, he has games where he just blows up, like that one in Detroit where they blew them out. So if you thought this is a close spread, so it's not going to be one of those blowout games. But anytime that you feel like a game's going to blow out, Payne's going to crush, and he still does well. He still plays in the low 20 minutes, and you can consider him on a 3-game slate here. But he's one of those guys that he actually truly has a ceiling at his price. Can't say that for everybody. So again, we're just going to throw him in this lineup. Again, there's other ways to go. And again, all these guys are in play. Like I said, Cam Johnson could get hot, and he's always under projected into the, saw 20 minutes against the Spurs just coming back after a week. So he'll probably be closer up to 25, 28, 30 minutes. And again, there's a ceiling on him as well. So tournament options only for here. Over on the Dallas side, I think a lot of this is going to hinge on Porzingis. If Porzingis does sit, it's going to open up a lot of potential for Jalen Brunson, Luka Doncic. They're very much in play, and the pricing's kind of funky here. All these guys seem a little bit cheap, but Luka 10-4, very much in play. So if I'll build this lineup like Porzingis is gonna sit. Like I said, he's questionable. If you want, all the news that we have. Uppers Lad does a fantastic job of breaking all that stuff down and kind of telling you what the usage rates are, who to play, when a guy's out, who's to get on. We have all of that DFSArmy. So use that description or use that link in the description below if you want access to that stuff. It's in our VIP Discord. Brunson at 6,500 again. Another one of those gets a ton of usage when we don't have any Porzingis. I really don't want to play him at that price point if Porzingis is in, but if he's out, like I said, I have no problem playing him. I'm going to slide him in this lineup as well. And like I said, on 3-game slate, I don't mind playing Luka and Brunson together if Porzingis is out. It's not one of those things what I would recommend doing on a full slate, like 13-gamer like last night. We had 13 games last night, 3 tonight, and then tomorrow we have 11 games. So this week has been funky. Tuesday we had 2 games. It's just been all over the place, and I wish the NBA would just have 5 to 7 games a night, man. It's perfect. Anyway, so we come in here and we look at Maxi Kleber, Finney Smith. If Porzingis is out, those guys become more in play for me. They're going to play more minutes. Same thing with Hardaway Jr. Wouldn't want to play him if Porzingis is there, but if Porzingis does sit at 4,900, I like you can slide him in the small forward role. He's a guy I would consider. I wouldn't play Luka, Brunson, and Hardaway in the same lineup. That's just too much. But they're guys you have to kind of consider. Same thing with Kleber. I wouldn't play him if Porzingis is there, but if Porzingis is out, I don't mind playing him when he's 3,900. It's one of those guys I hate playing because he usually doesn't get it done. But there's moments where he has a bit of a ceiling. But again, we're gonna need that. We're gonna need that Porzingis news before we can make a trigger on that. And if you want a 3K guy, you can always come down here. Reggie Bullock is 3K. And if coming off the bench, he can get you there. If he plays 20, 22 minutes at 3K, he's a guy I don't mind playing. Not that I love, but a guy I don't mind playing. So let's move on to the next game where we get the Pelicans at the Knicks. 210.5 over under. The Knicks favored by 2.5. On the Pelican side, Devontae Graham is questionable. And on the Knicks, Cam Reddish is still out from that trade over from Atlanta. And then Archie is out, and Nerlens Noel is out as well for the Knicks. So on the Pelican side, I think a lot of this, again, is going to hinge on, what's going to happen to Devontae Graham. If he sits, maybe we see Temple come in that starting lineup, maybe Alexander Walker, which would be interesting at 3,600, Temple at 3,100. But I do think it would open up way more, the ceiling more for like a Josh Hart. More for a Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram's, 8K. Going up against the Knicks, Joval should be able to do whatever he wants to do, so I don't mind playing him at all. But with Graham out, those shots are going to have to go somewhere. So Hart and Ingram are probably my 2 favorite. Herb Jones is a guy that just continues to get it done. He's 4,400. 23, 23, 32, 16, 21. It's going to play heavy minutes, and again, if Graham's not there, we could see him continue. So I like you can put him at the power forward or center slot. We're going to throw him at power forward here just because I like he's a good play regardless, in my opinion, if Graham plays or not. But if Graham is out, I don't mind playing throwing in Herb Jones there, and then even your small forward throwing Josh Hart. Josh Hart has a ceiling of 40 or 50, but 31, 37, and that 25 game where they blew out the Clippers. So that one you can't take into consideration. And then 40 up against Minnesota. So just pretty consistent, again, he plays probably one of the most minutes on the team with him and Ingram. So those are probably my 2 point per dollar favorites. And then, like you said, if you want to look at Naw, Alexander Walker, even if he just comes off the bench, if he starts, I'd really like him at 3,600, even though he takes a usage hit from Ingram and Hart, but at 3,600, he can still get it done. So it's just one of those things where we're going to need the starting lineup. Again, we got 2 games to start at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and then the late night hammer at Indy at Golden State. So we'll definitely know the news of what's going on, and we'll break that all down for you over DFS Army. Let's go over the Knicks side of things. Like I said, we have no Nerlens Noel, so probably going to see some more Robinson here, some more Taj Gibson. Taj Gibson's cheap. He's only 3,300. In 3-game slate, he won't have that much ownership. Doesn't really, have a high ceiling, but that doesn't mean he can't get there. There's his times for him. Mitch Rob at 5'2", though, still won't probably play 30 minutes. He's always seems to be around that 25 to 30 mark. And going up against Joval, don't really love it. Not a place that I really want to play here. The big one, Kemba Walker, is going to hurt a lot of these guys. So like hurts RJ Barrett a little bit, hurts Randall. Kemba was on that tear before, and he came back. He was off for almost 3 weeks. So he came back on the 18th playing in Minnesota, put up 29 DraftKings points, played 30 minutes. And so we're probably going to continue to see that. And so he really hurts Alec Burks a ton. So I'd be a complete fade on Alec Burks with Walker back. So if you want to throw Walker in a lineup like this, I have no problem putting him at the guard position at 6,100. He definitely has a ceiling. And you can tell this year he's just trying to do a little bit more, right? He's trying to say he still belongs in the league, and he's done really well in some of those games. I mean, we're talking a 70-point game back against Washington a couple days before Christmas, like 40, 43, 45. So, if the minutes are going to be there, I have no problem throwing him in those lineups. But again, it really takes a hurt on Burks, and I don't want any part of him at that 6,200 price point. Same thing, RJ Barrett, like 7,200. He's had some big games, right? 44, 39, 44, 43. But then that one game, they decided to throw in Kemba Walker back in the fold. He dropped down to 25 fantasy points there. And again, the shots are still there. He still put up 16 shots, only shot 38% from the field. But I think the ceiling's going to be hurt a little bit with Walker coming back because the usage is just going to be way higher on him. So I don't really have a ton of love for Barrett or Randall here. I'd rather kind of go a different direction with Walker coming back here. And again, Evan Fournier is one of those guys that can always get hot, 5,500, 3-game slate. He's got to be in your pool. And then you can't really play quickly with Walker back because, Burke's probably going to play some of that backup point as well, and it just kind of screws everything up. So I don't really care for a lot of those other guys. And then the island game here, where we got Indy at Golden State. Sabonis got hurt last night, so he's probably going to be out for at least a week. Kuminga's starting, which is awesome. Iggy should be back. Otto Porter should still be out, but on the Indy side, Sabonis being injured and out, it should be the LeVert show, man. Like, I don't know how you don't play LeVert in this lineup here. Brogdon did play last night, saw 26 minutes, but again, he was out for a week. And, even before that, he was out almost 3 weeks. So I still think they're going to take it easy on him on a back-to-back. I don't think they're going to push him too much. I just would rather play LeVert. I think that's the play. If you want to come down here, some of these other guys, Duarte at 4,300 fits perfectly in this lineup, and I love him as well. He's going to have to do a bunch. Like, these Indy guys, there's a lot of them in play. If you want to play him, if you want to come down and play, look at Duarte last night up against the Lakers. Put 26 DraftKings points, 32 minutes, only shot 30% from the field. He's probably going to be a core play for me tonight going up against Golden State because I think he's going to play regardless of what happens. And he's got 40, 50-point upside, which you have to absolutely love. But should play a ton of minutes. And again, if he doesn't start and they start Torrey Craig at 3,800, he played 31 minutes against the Lakers last night, shot 16%, put up 28 DraftKings points. So these are just some real cheap pieces that I think you need to be looking towards. Even if you come down here to this 3K range and you want to get a little Jeremy Lamb action, he should be able to play some minutes here. Only put up 8 DraftKings points to 25 minutes against the Lakers last night, but that doesn't mean he can't get hot. We've seen it before, and he'd be a real nice low owned piece here. So again, Torrey Craig, Jeremy Lamb, more GPP 150 type plays, where Duarte is going to be more of like, if I'm building a single entry 3-max lineup, like this kind of lineup style here, I would think I'd throw Duarte in that a little bit. Lance Stevenson, he had his thing. I don't think we're going to see a ton of him. If it gets out of control, I mean, it's a 216 over under, Golden State favored by 10.5. Maybe they get let Lance dance a little bit out there, and deep GPPs, but I don't see a ton of it. Played 6 minutes against the Lakers, had minus a half a DraftKings point, but it's like one of those things where you'd have to build it towards more of a blowout. And then I wouldn't play Stevenson with LeVert, I guess is what I'd say, because if it blew out, I don't think LeVert's going to get there, and then you're looking at like a Stevenson, maybe a Oshae Brissett, something like that, where you're trying to just try to get to, GPP winning upside, and hope that LeVert fails, which he's gonna be super high owned. Same with Duarte, he's gonna be super high owned. They're just good value plays. Like I said, Torrey Craig would probably be my third favorite if I was gonna rank the three, and then Brogdon. It's like, how many minutes is he really gonna see, right? Like, I can't see if they play him on a back-to-back, like he's not on the injury report, I can't see them pushing him more than 27, 28 minutes. So it's really hard for him to gonna get there at that price point. I would rather just push all my chips on LeVert for 500 more. But on a 3-game slate, if you want to take a chance and maybe it gets hot, I just don't see it. Over on the Golden State side, Curry is 10.5. Wiggins is 6.6. Klay Thompson's at 53. Those minutes, like, he's interesting. The minutes are slowly kind of creeping up, right? They had him at 20, and then 21, 23, 22. Put up 35 DK points and 22 points in 22 minutes. We could see maybe 24 minutes out of him. Maybe he'll creep to 25. They're not going to push him that hard, man. He's been out for so long. They're not going to push him. But he has GPP winning upside. In 25 minutes, that dude can put up 50. So you have to consider him for sure. At that shooting guard position, if Porzingis plays, I'd slide him right into there. Or maybe you want to play him over Kemba Walker. I have no problem doing that and making some changes around here. But you definitely have to consider him with the minutes uptick that he's going to get. Kuminga's another guy, 4,300. Fits right perfect in this lineup as well. Actually, he probably has more upside than Herb Jones here in this lineup. So say we want to click this out and put Kuminga in this lineup. He's been, like I said, he's been starting 29, 28, 42, 26 minutes. He's going to be way more popular than Herb Jones. Herb Jones is probably more of a tournament option. Looking at the price of Kuminga here, 4,300, you slide him in this lineup. And then again, what's great is you just run this back with Duarte at that forward spot, and you got a pretty solid lineup here that I feel pretty comfortable with, depending on what they do with Biyombo and McGee in this lineup. But that's why I look at Wiggins. I can't play. It's 6,600. When you got Klay Thompson at 1,300 cheaper, yeah, he put up. They just smashed Detroit and put up 33 DraftKings points. But he's going to be. He doesn't have a ceiling, is all I'm saying. As long as Klay and the Splash Brothers are out there, and Curry and Klay, we don't have a ceiling for Wiggins, and I don't think it's something that we need to attack much at all. Same thing with Poole. His minutes are going to be down. Having him be 100 more coming off the bench, I just don't see it. Unless it gets out of control, I can see Poole kind of finishing the game with that. But Kerr can go anywhere, man. He can go Bjelica. He can go Damian Lee, Gary Payton. He has no problem playing 12, 15 guys. It's just what he does. And so with that, I just don't see no reason to, roll him out at all. So for me, like I said, it's going to be Kuminga is probably a core play here, especially if he's going to continue to start. They're going to have no one in that on the Indy side down in the post. I mean, Miles Turner's out, Sabonis is out. They don't have any bigs, man. Like, there's no bigs. Goga probably going to start, but how many minutes is he truly going to see, right? And going up against Looney, like at that power forward position, they're not going to have anyone that's going to be able to stop Kuminga. So just love him, like I said. And Duarte on the Indy side, those are some cheap pieces that I absolutely love. And I'd have no problem locking him in if you really wanted to. I just think that there's some of the better value there. So again, quick 3-game breakdown here. Apologize for the rant if you didn't enjoy that, but I had to get that off my chest, man. It bothered me last night. Like I said, I don't rant. I don't tilt that often. especially on players. Like, they have bad nights, not a big deal to me. Like, it happens. As long as my research I felt like was right, I have no problem with the outcomes of games. It's just what it is. But when you see a ref take over a game like that and kind of ruin it, it just really, really pisses me off. So with that, again, I hope you enjoyed the 3 game breakdown. If you like these videos, man, hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and I'll keep knocking out content like that. And be on the lookout for a Prize Picks video. I'm going to drop one once they put up some more plays on the board, and hopefully we can continue to crush over there. We had a good night last night. The Butler one, again, kind of tilts me. Had a good night. Could have been a fantastic night if that didn't happen. But with that, I will see you on the flip side. Deuces.